The sharp, sterile scent of antiseptic hit Marla Varelli before her eyes fully opened. Fluorescent lights buzzed above, cold and unwavering. A single four-bag swayed gently beside her, casting long, slow shadows across the wall. Her fingers twitched. The heart monitor stuttered, then resumed its rhythmic beep. No flowers, no cards, no warmth. The clock read 3:07 a.m. Boston Medical Center. ICU. She tried to speak, nothing but air. Her throat, raw and hollow, burned. Her lips moved in silence as she scanned the empty room. The whiteboard bore no names. Next of kin, none listed. A nurse entered briefly, eyes avoiding hers. "I'll get the doctor," she murmured, vanishing as quickly as she came. Minutes passed before a man in a white coat stepped in. His voice was too soft for the news he carried. "No one renewed your medical directive," he said, eyes down. "You've been legally abandoned. You were marked DNR by default. It's a miracle you woke up." She turned her head. On the bedside table lay a crumpled ledger with overdue notices in red ink. A sticky note clung to the front. "You're on your own." Inside her, disbelief fractured into panic. Her breath quickened. Her chest rose and fell, sharp, shallow. But there was no one there to steady her. Her voice, a whisper she barely recognized. "They didn't just leave me. They erased me." Cut. Light blinks above. Cut. Empty visitor logs. Cut. A blank birthday card from hospital staff dated 5 months ago. No signature. She closed her eyes. Memory invaded like a flashbang. Dale's silence at the dinner table. Leona's eyes fixed on Marla, but full of something cold. Solander's fingers dancing on her phone. A birthday candle melting down, never blown out. A toast never made. A kiss never returned. Her head pounded. Back in the present, Marla lay motionless. "Why didn't they fight for me?" Her voice rasped again, almost inaudible. Another knock. A nurse returned, nervously holding a small USB. "This was found in your belongings. Maybe it's yours." She clutched it. Her hands still trembled. Plugged it into the room's monitoring station. Folders popped open. Worth-mined prototype designs. Code snapshots. Voice memos. Each file stamped with her name. Her signature. Her dreams. They knew. She stared at the screen, whispering, "They knew I was the founder. They chose to forget." Some people don't abandon you, she thought. They prepare for your absence. She clicked play on the oldest file. Her voice, clear and hopeful, describing a startup built on trust and healing. A night shift guard tapped lightly on the glass. He stepped in, hesitant. "Someone came every Tuesday," he said, "but not to check on you." "What then?" she asked, barely audible. He looked over his shoulder. They were always alone. One man. Tall. But he signed in, but never left flowers. Last time he had papers. Your name was on them. She scrolled through the hospital's internal logs. Footage after footage corrupted, glitched, except one. Dale, in a dark jacket, leaned over her unconscious body, a pen in hand. He looked around. His lips moved. A signature was made off-screen. She froze. Legal documents. Power of attorney. Backdated medical competency forms. Dale's name appeared. Her signature forged beneath his. Rage slithered in. Quiet. Controlled. "Sometimes," she muttered, "the knife doesn't stab. It signs." That night, Marla signed her own discharge papers. AMA against medical advice. She cited revivification without guardianship. The nurse hesitated but nodded. Legally, she was right. She changed into clothes left by a volunteer. A trench coat too long, shoes too big. Her hospital bracelet still clung to her wrist. The doors slid open. The wind slapped her face. Rain fell. Cold. Relentless. She stood under the flickering street lamp, staring at the empty road. No phone. No money. Just the USB. Footsteps echoed behind her. She turned. Nothing. A black sedan crawled past. Windows up. Tinted. It stopped 20 feet ahead. She ducked behind a bus stop, her breath visible. Her heart raced. The passenger door opened. A man stepped out. His pace was slow, deliberate. She clutched the USB tighter. "You survived the coma," she whispered. "Now survive the silence." She didn't move. The man kept walking. Camera tilt. Her face half-shadowed under the coat, eyes wide but dry. In her mind, she spoke to the void. What would you do if you woke up and your whole life had been sold? Would you scream or would you listen first? Because silence doesn't mean peace. Sometimes it's just paperwork filed without you. And betrayal? It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it smiles. The rain had not stopped. Marla's trench coat, still damp from her escape, clung to her as she stood in front of what used to be home. Her building looked smaller now, stripped of familiarity. The for sale sign hung crooked in the yard, and her name had been scraped off the mailbox, replaced with a stranger's. She rang the bell. A new tenant peeked from behind the curtain and quickly vanished. Moments later, the buzz of gossip whispered from an upstairs window. A child pointed. Somewhere inside, a phone rang. Then police dispatch echoed in the street. She backed away before they arrived. Her key was useless. The lock had been changed. Boxes lined the curb. One bore her initials, rained on, half collapsed. Inside, she found a cracked photo frame, a toothbrush, and a single hospital bracelet. "They sold my home," she muttered. "Not because they needed the money. Because they pretended I was dead." Legally they could. Power of attorney, activated during her coma, allowed Dale to liquidate assets. A medical abandonment clause cleared any opposition. She wasn't listed. She didn't exist. With nothing but a torn duffel and the USB, she walked 4 blocks and paid cash for a one-room studio that smelled of mildew and quiet desperation. That night, she parked in an underground garage. Her boots echoed. She unlocked her car, then froze. Glass crunched underfoot. Her rear window was shattered. Rain pooled on the back seat. Her reflection warped in the side mirror. Across the lot, a black sedan idled. No lights. No plates. She didn't run. She stood her ground, shoulders square, breath even. Her phone buzzed. No caller ID. Just a message. Stop digging, or sleep forever. She didn't flinch. She slid the USB deeper into her coat and climbed into the car, hands trembling as she turned the ignition. Her wipers smeared water across cracked glass. The rear view mirror flickered. A silhouette moved, then vanished. Cut to black. Next morning, a manila envelope slid under her door. Inside, a legal document filed by Dale Fenwick on behalf of the family trust, declaring her mentally unfit and waiving her claims to Worth Mind. She stared. Each line carved a new wound. She called the attorney listed. "You can't sign me away while I was unconscious," she said. "You didn't contest in time," the lawyer replied. Power of attorney was valid. Your silence spoke volumes. No, she whispered. They sold me, first my body, now my mind. Desperation turned surgical. She called Theo Raines, a hacker who owed her favors from a past deal. Hours later, she sat in his cluttered loft, screens flickering. He pulled public records, deed transfers, timestamps. Dale's name appeared everywhere. Exactly on the night she slipped into a coma. He didn't wait a week, Theo muttered. He waited 1 hour. She clutched the USB. Get me into Worthmine's archive. Theo grinned. Already working on it. She contacted a former coworker. By nightfall, she had a voice memo of Dale bragging to a VC. It should have been mine from day one. Marla was just the face. The money's mine now. She listened twice, then deleted it. Not out of mercy, but precision. They can erase the ledger, she said, but they can't erase the code I wrote. Later that afternoon, headlines screamed across every screen. Coma founder suffers breakdown. Family takes control. Worthmind IPO to move forward without Marla Varelli. In a cafe corner, she sat alone, coffee cold. Cameras clicked outside. Dale, smug in a press conference, read from a psychiatrist's affidavit claiming her delusional and incapable of executive function. Reporters barked questions as she exited. Marla, are you dangerous? Do you admit you're unstable? She said nothing. A soft ping. New email. Leaked internal Worthmine memo. If Marla returns, the stock tanks. Support Dale. It's safer. They don't want me broken, she whispered. They want me forgotten. That night, she walked without destination, past neon reflections and gutter smoke. Rooftops called like quiet churches. She deleted her social media, changed her number, cleared her cloud drive. She stood under city light, phone in one hand, USB in the other. She called Walter Griggs. What if all I have is a USB and the will to live, she asked. Walter's voice was calm. Ownership is an emotion. It's law. And you, Marla, still have both. She closed her eyes. If I am to fight, I fight for truth, not vengeance. The city exhaled around her. Her phone buzzed once. New email. No sender. No subject line except, you don't know the half. Rain tapped against the glass like a metronome for war. Marla sat beside Theo in the dimly lit loft, the screen before them casting sharp shadows on their faces. The air smelled of metal and wet wool. Outside, the city pretended to sleep. Inside, they were wide awake. Theo typed fast, breath short. Decrypting final layer. The file unlocked with a soft chime. Succession backup under V3. They leaned in. Legal text scrolled. A buried clause. Founder rights of Worthmind revert solely to Marla's voice ID, biometrics, and mental clearance, none of which had been legally transferred. Timestamps confirmed the deed transfer happened during her coma. Forged. Inadmissible. A flicker of memory struck. The night before her accident. Marla in her robe, tweaking pitch slides. Her mother had kissed her forehead. One day we change the world together, Marla had said. Her mother smiled, but her eyes held worry. They tried to bury me alive, she murmured. But truth never dies. Marla paused, texted a nurse still in the ICU. You deserve more than I have now. I'll fight with this second life for both of us. Theo downloaded the file to an encrypted drive and grabbed his coat. Back in 30, he never made it home. On the deserted road outside the loft, Theo's car skidded. A metal screech. He fought the wheel, swerved into an empty lot, narrowly avoiding a pole. Smoke hissed. His hands shook. Flashlight beam. The brake line was sliced. Deliberate. At the same moment, Marla's phone lit up. Voicemail. She played it, a single breath. Slow. Intentional. Then a click. Nothing else. They don't have to kill me, she whispered. They just want to scare me silent. She called Walter. Court. Now. I've got the file. And someone just tried to kill my friend. The next morning, headlines screamed. Coma CEO mental health crisis. Family moves to protect company. Outside the courthouse, Dale and Leona stood at a press podium, painting Marla as unstable. Investors watched. Reporters ate it up. Inside her studio, Marla scribbled in her notebook. They spin lies like silk, but truth sinks them. She issued a statement through Walter. I may have been silent, but I was never gone. Truth is my voice now. An old beneficiary from her clinic called. They tried to erase you, but I walk because of you. You saved me. Marla blinked hard. Then it's time I save myself. Courtroom. Packed. Electric. The judge tapped his gavel. Theo entered limping, hand bandaged, drive-in pocket. Walter stood. Introduced the evidence. Original code. Deed timestamps. Medical files. Forged power of attorney. Biometrics logs. Leona averted her eyes. Dale's jaw twitched. Marla took the stand. Her voice was steady. You tried to erase me. What I built. Who I am. But you failed. Because truth doesn't sign papers. It endures. Gasps. Silence. Theo played the final file. A grainy audio. Dale's voice. Just make it look accidental. No police. Handle it. Courtroom shattered. Dale stood. Denied everything. Security cuffed him. Marla watched, expression unreadable. Outside, the dawn broke. Ownership reinstated. Her name returned to the papers. Her accounts unlocked. She walked through her old therapy clinic. Lights off. She turned them on one by one. Silence met her, a peaceful kind. She called her ICU nurse friend. The fight is over, she said. Now begins the healing. She stood by her office window, eyes on a new foundation being poured across the street. Time to build more than a company,